Live from the Scruffy Womp Rat Cantina, this is Under the Twin Suns.
Welcome back to Under the Twin Suns. Thanks for joining us. It's me, your host, Cole, and I'm joined by my good friends, and I'll let them introduce themselves.
Uh, I guess I'll go first. This is Ruben. That's all you got.
Hi, I'm Steve. Does anybody know why Luke Skywalker and Mara Jade Skywalker are not married?
Do tell.
Because he used divorce.
Dad joke. Love it.
Oh, that was better than it should
I'm
have.
Johnathan. I wasn't prepared for the jokes, so come up empty-handed.
And welcome back to Under the Twin Suns. Thanks for joining us again this week. This is the podcast where the four of us talk about Twin Suns, the coolest game mode of Star Wars Unlimited. And personally, I think it's more fun than Commander. I said it. Come at me.
Wow.
Engage me in the comments. So the first thing we wanted to go ahead and talk about today was we wanted to gauge not only our opinions on this, but also yours in the comments below. Do you like that Twilight of the Republic specifically catered all of the rare bases to Twin Suns? Because in my opinion, most of them don't really have a place in the competitive meta, or at least we haven't seen a huge change in the meta from Tarkin Town, ECL, those typical rare bases. But I don't know about you guys. I almost always try to choose a rare base now when we're playing Twin Suns, just because it gives you just so many more options. Like if you have Shadow Collective Camp, you just immediately get to draw another card. And there are other good examples of that. I know, Johnathan, you like the droid manufacturer, right?
Yeah, I really wanted to work with like Dooku and Newt because you're guaranteed kind of something to exploit when you flip, but still get haven't gotten it to work yet, but that's the goal.
I think you need a heavier Sentinel deck. I'm not trying to backseat game on you. I think there needs to be more
Yeah,
Sentinel Separatists, and I know that most of them are really good, but they're high cost, and you need to get those tokens out first. But I think Sentinels, even maybe like Dark Trooper might help you. I don't know. I'm just spitballing.
I really slept on him big time until I saw Jonathan flip both leaders and get 4 droids out of it. And I'm like, okay, I'm kind of sold on that.
Imagine you get an invisible hand right after that. Nuts.
Oh,
Yeah, that'll be a nutty combo. Ruben,
You
I know
know,
you
and you,
like the
yeah,
rare
yeah.
bases as well.
So I like them. The thing about this is my thought. I was like, okay, I got a 26-point base with Petronaki Arena, and I was like, okay, no one's gonna hit me. No, see, that doesn't stop you guys from hitting my base first. It's like I don't know what it is. I can have a 50-point base. You guys would probably leave me alone. But no, I think overall, I like the Petronaki Arena for myself because my deck that I randomly generated, I was like, huh, I want to try using these 2 leaders. They don't have a lot of power, but it just kind of changes up the game a little bit. So I like the fact that when my leaders deploy, they get a little bit stronger. So if you run this with Sabine, she's just a little bit beefier. So it's kind of another cool way of doing it. Plus, you got that HP, the 26, which I think is a sweet spot for Twin Suns. But I do like running them, and I think yes, running these rare bases is a lot more fun in Twin Suns than currently in Premier because each leader means that you get 2 effects, right? So you get them both. So it's really cool.
yeah, I think like what the yellow one I think sees a little bit of play in like an Asajj, like aggro deck, but I haven't really seen the other ones really take off.
I mean, Tarkin Town and ECL are just so
Oh, it's
solid
so good.
green and red. And I
Especially Tarkin Town right now. It's like you've got Cad Bane, Quinlan, Voss, and then you got the Django with all the pinging. There's so much pinging
saw a Ray
that
deck
Tarkin
too.
Town can. Oh yeah, Ray is
Mhm.
great. Just being able to finish something off turn one and get that tempo swing is huge.
I really do like Ray, like as a competitive deck. I think that's what I might end up building finally for my competitive deck because listeners probably are not aware. I'm a very stubborn man. I don't like meta stuff. I really really don't. I play a Swarm Captain Rex deck. Is it good? No. Is it fun? Absolutely. Um, I just keep saying, "Oh, build a competitive deck one day." I'm not. We all know I won't. It just won't happen. Swarm decks forever, baby. So I wanted to gauge you guys' opinion because we've played like 3 or 4 games now between our group, like both in the real world and in the virtual world. Have I changed? Am I less aggressive in Twin Suns? I truly believe I am. I don't think I've gotten a kill in like a week. I'm fiending.
I think you've gotten a lot better.
I think there's hope for you yet.
Aw, thanks, buddy.
I mean, when we play, we just it's very funny how we politicize it. Like, hey, I didn't hit you last time. I'll do this. I'll do that. I'm like, okay, cool. Oh, hey, man, you have a you have a nice scarf today or something. Oh, I'm not gonna attack you. You just say whatever you gotta say to not get hit. Like, I will make stuff up. Well, like, hey, Steve, man, I just want you to know, man, you're a really good guy. This and that. And sometimes I tug at the heartstrings. It helps. Like the other time I played with a buddy of mine, I was like, hey, man, I'm your ride. You don't want to attack me. Remember that? I've done that. I use it. So it's like I will do what I gotta do because at the end of the day, we're having a lot of fun, but I'm trying not to get hit. I'm trying
Very
not to
much
get
so.
hit. Like I'm just trying to build up a small little army, but nope, no one wants to do that. So no, but overall, Cole, you have changed. I think we did get to the game that I think we played this one of the recent games we played. I think we got to 5 resources, but that wasn't your fault.
It was not.
I think it was probably mine and Jonathan's.
Yeah, I mean, on the flip side, I like being the antagonizer. It's always fun.
You do. You do. I
Yeah,
love that. Yeah.
look, people reach for a die. No, it's coward move, man. Own up to what you're choosing.
I
Speak up and
actually
know.
know what happened in that game. I do not want to spoil it for our viewers because the video has not come out for them yet. But I'm gonna give you a hint. For the first Free for All Friday, just pay really good attention to how much Steve is buttering me up. It will play into effect later, because that's what happened. But we'll see.
Gotta butter that muffin.
Oh, blueberry? What are you guys' thoughts on cranberry muffin? Totally random thought. If you
No,
see a
blueberry for the
no,
win.
yeah, that's what I'm saying.
I don't
I
know
like
why
the
you would
tartness
mess with a
though.
good thing.
Chocolate chip muffins
See.
are good too.
Who hurt you, Jonathan? Like,
I'm also a sucker for a bag of chips over any sweets, man. So
Some people are like that. Some people just don't like sweets, and like that's not shade. Like just some people are just
No,
constructed differently.
I love sweet
it's like
stuff.
those people that crack open a Dr. Pepper at 6 a.m. It's like,
Okay,
what
now
are
I'm
you
feeling
doing?
5 o'clock
attacked.
somewhere.
Now I'm being attacked. So I know a lot of us came from the Magic world. Some of us the Pokemon world. Weirdly, I know that's where me and Jonathan really got our start. But I've obviously played a little bit of Magic here and there. I enjoy it. I'm not gonna lie. I still enjoy Star Wars more, but I'm not gonna sit here and say Magic the Gathering is a bad game. One of the biggest successes that Magic the Gathering has had, and feel free to correct me in the comments because I barely know what I'm talking about, were what I would call the Precon decks, because that's what always grabs me. Like the big example that I always tell my friends, oh god, the Fallout decks, that was my weakness. I am a huge Fallout guy. I love those games, so anytime they did a deck about that, I was in. Do you guys think FFG is going to notice that and go ahead and actually start producing Twin Suns decks?
It's a slippery slope, like, because a part of me really wants them to. The precons were, I mean, it's like a gateway drug. I know so many casual Magic players that don't play competitively, but if the precon comes out, we all grab one, and it's just a perfect way, like a way you don't have to learn the meta. You don't have to learn, okay, I got to go find this card. You just buy the box, you go home, and you play it, and they're all really powerful. Like they're all made. They're not like the best, but they're definitely playable. But at the same time, the flip side of it, I don't really want to see FFG start printing Twin Sun specific cards in the Premier
Yeah.
format, because then you get really frustrated with, like, we got these rare bases this set, and they're really cool for Twin Suns. They're awesome, but for Premier, I feel like it was such a missed opportunity to have a really cool Premier rare base. Instead, we just got some Twin Sun stuff, and I think the people that don't play Twin Suns are the ones that are going to be hurt by it.
Yeah, unfortunately, I hate to tell you this. I think there are already some cards that are pretty much Twin Sun specific. The one that always comes to mind for me is Impropriety Among Thieves. Like being able
Yeah.
to, yeah, that's the number one that comes to my mind that I'm like, oh, this was printed for Twin Suns. Could it work in Premiere? I mean, yeah, if you just do it with one-on-one, but unless you're running like a double yellow Chancellor deck and trying to trade tokens, I don't get it. But that's insert the graphic of Cole being a rain cloud. Thank you, editor.
Well, I say this, I disagree with Steve's assessment on that for the main reasons this. What is the easiest way to get into a game? A pre-constructed deck, right? They're like, hey, I don't have to worry about getting a figure out what's in here. Would they make cards that are specific for Twin Suns? When they created this game, Star Wars Unlimited, they came out with right away a multiplayer format. They know it's important. They want it to be important. The fact that they're announcing uh, the different changes and how many cards are going to go in the deck is important because it's something that's important to them. Because one thing that I'm assuming here is that they enjoy playing multiplayer games. Magic Commander, same thing like that. But I think that a lot of cards that we have will see more play in Twin Suns than you would see in Premier because people aren't using those cards, right? But I just think overall having a pre-constructed deck that says, "Hey, these are your, let's just say, 80 to 100 cards or 99 cards." Yes, there's going to be a lot of reprints of from what is in the sets 1 through 4, whatever they put in there, but what if they do make a card that's just specifically for Twin Suns? That doesn't mean it's a bad thing. The rare bases that we have right now for set 3 may not be heavily used in Premiere, but guess what? People are going to be using it in Twin Suns. So
Hmm.
it's when they created the game of Star Wars Unlimited, they also said, hey, we want this to be a draft game, right? You can draft very well with this because of all the different synergies and stuff like that. So I think that they're trying to encompass everything, which I think having a gateway to like, oh, if I can get this precon deck that's Luke and Leia, cool. Where's the theme about this? And because correct me if I'm wrong, Steve, because I still I think remember correctly on how precons they give you a little pamphlet that says, hey, these are the cool cards in here. This is what they can do. Here's the good synergies. Here's the good combos. Here's the deck list. Here's a fun way of playing it, and so forth. So I just think that for me, I would love pre-con decks, uh, just because of the fact that, hey, here you go. Here's a way to play the game. It's going to be cheaper. I mean, what, 25, $30 maybe? And add some really cool legendaries. I don't know. There's different things you could do with it, but I just think it's a good gateway.
It is, and I do agree that it is a great gateway. My only thing is it does create some feel bad moments for players who may be trying to get into the game and they get their pre-con, they play with their friends, and then they hear about a local tournament and they say, "Great!" They show up with their Twin Sun cards and they're not legal in the Premier format. A card that comes to mind was Scavenging Ooze was in Magic the
Hmm.
Gathering Commander, and I remember that card was awesome. I loved playing it, and then I was really sad to find out it wasn't in standard. It wasn't in,
Right, and
regular.
that's yeah, that is I can see that with Magic, because Magic has got a 20 plus, was it 30 years now, I guess? 30? Yeah.
It's
Uh
Yeah,
like 100
so
million
30.
years. I
and
don't know.
again, like right now with Star Wars, there's nothing that you can't play in Premiere that you can't play in Twin
Right.
Suns. Like
And
right
that's
now is, it's but I can see the shifting of it, but at the end of the day, I think multiplayer format is such a huge boon for the game because all your cards that would rotate, you can play in Twin Suns.
Technically, Ruben, there is one card,
No,
Boba.
well,
He's allowed
Boba
in Twin
is
Suns. He's
he's
not allowed in
allowed in
Premier,
Twin Suns, right?
technically.
He's just not allowed at the table when he comes out to play. We're like, why you got to be that one guy, you know?
yeah,
This
that
is
is a
true.
good point that we all know about Boba, but like somebody who's never heard of the game and just getting
Yeah.
in and they got their Boba Twin Suns deck and they're like, jamming out. And then they got
Eh,
to learn, oh, can't play this in
yeah.
Premiere. Yeah, it's just one card, but it like over years it could be
Hmm.
10, 20.
Let's hope not.
So, as always, to you, our loyal listeners, we have for you a combo. What's the meme? Ba 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 ba. Did you guys like that? That's the new intro song. It's permanent. It's not permanent.
I loved it.
Um, We still
Room
haven't
for
come up with
improvement.
a really good title for this. One idea I had the other day was memeology, the study of memes. I'm not sure. But as always, we have a fun combo for you guys this week that will make your table mates go, huh? You guys think he's okay in the head? No. Much similar to my Darth Jar Jar from last week. I will let Steve take it away. Actually, this seems much more mentally sane than what I created. But still, take it away, Steve.
I love my Star Wars canon. I love it a lot, and I appreciate it when it's respected. I was a little upset when we got Droidica released and we didn't have a shield on it, and it really bothered me. So the meme combo of the week is we're gonna fix the Droidica. Step one is we're gonna play Droidica security, and we're gonna activate Kira, who will be one of our leaders, to deal 2 damage to it and give it a shield. We're then going to play Moment of Peace to give it another shield. We're going to then play Jetpack to give it an additional shield and make its power go up by 2. So now we have a much more lore accurate Droidica. We have it's got 2 lower health but 2 more power, making it a little bit more like the glass cannon we've come to know and love. It has 3 shields. One will go away at the end of the turn, but that kind of shows, how the Droidica is taking all these shots and and still has its shield up. It's gonna feel like it can take a beating, and obviously once you pop the shields, it dies pretty easily, just like in the show. Jar Jar was able to kill it with like a leg shot or something, I think, in the movie. But yes, that's me. That's me trying to fix the Droidica. It's going to cost you anywhere from 6 to 10 resources, just depending on how you exploit it.
That would really terrify me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That's funny because it's you put all those resources into making this combo work, and you're getting everything, you're getting really close, and then someone's like, "Huh, what is he doing over there?" Then you're like, "Is he really doing what we're thinking he's doing?" And we're all talking, we're all having a good time, and then we let Steve do it, and that's gonna happen.
Yep.
Also, Steve, correct me because Kira is one of the leaders that I still to this day I'm like, yeah, whatever you do, tell me you did. Yep, sure. Um, when she would flip, would you be able to heal the Droidica somewhat if it's still on the
Actually,
table?
you would heal the Droidica, and she would just pop one of the shields. So
Yep.
that'd be pretty
Because you
Interesting.
cool.
heal all the damage first, and then you do damage based off of half of the HP, right?
Okay.
Right.
Half
Yeah.
remaining. Yeah.
So it would just pop one of the shields, and then you'd lose the shield from the jetpack. So you'd still have a shield left.
Huh. Well, that'd be a pretty good play. I like this.
Can't wait to see it.
All right, well, that was our meme of the week. Let us know below what you think, any suggestions you can come up with, and if you've tried this at your local game store and what happened. We'd love to hear from you guys below. So today our main topic really is, this is something that we've been working on personally, so we wanted to bring it up on the show, is building a real Twin Suns community specifically. Because one thing that Ruben and I have noticed lately is we've really been trying to get more players out for Twin Suns. The issue is, I don't know how to put this. The crossover between Premier and Twin Suns is not as much as you would think. I have one really good friend. He's a really good Premier player. We all play with him. He's a great guy. He hates Twin Suns. Doesn't like any multiplayer games. Doesn't like that format. Never liked Commander. That's just not his vibe. So what we're trying to do right now is, one thought that we had recently is we're trying to offer nights during like Commander night where we have a table for Star Wars Unlimited, because maybe some people want to try a different game mode, and we want to show that there's other options for multiplayer formats these days.
Yeah, I agree. I think that Twin Suns and with players who like Premier and there's Twin Suns, there is 2 different types of audiences, right? So I look at Twin Suns for me personally when I play it as like, you know what? This is relaxing. This is casual. I don't have to be thinking competitive mode, I'm just gonna be, oh, how do I do this work to make sure my play line is this, my play line is that. When I play Twin Suns, I'm honestly just thinking, I just want to play this card. This is cool. I would never play this in Premier. How am I ever gonna play this card? And then like, how can I get Jonathan to attack Steve? Then Cole put a shield on my guy. That's what I'm thinking. I'm not. I honestly enjoy it because of the casual banter that we have. It's a lot more fun. It's a lot more relaxed, and I just have a good time doing that and building. Just with we'll talk about this later, but just building a deck based off an idea or randomness. It's just kind of it's just so much more fun for me instead of like how do I beat the meta. It-
Hmm.
when I play Twin Suns, it's how do I have a good time.
Now, when I play Twin Suns, it's what's gonna make everyone laugh the most.
I have a crazy deck idea that I thought of like a couple days ago. Let's talk about a little bit later, but it's think of if you played Magic before, you'll know it's going to be a hug deck.
Okay.
I love hugs.
Hugs they're a very nice way to show appreciation of a friend. Another
Until
thing that
someone smothers you with it.
the Snorlax hug. Sometimes the one thing I've noticed lately is exactly what Ruben said. It's a much more casual game mode. I've heard some people talk about having like tournaments for Twin Suns. I don't. That's the hard thing about. How would you exactly do a tournament? Like, would you give points based
You
on the
do it in
placings?
pods. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's like kind of like Magic does it. They do it in pods because in typically the idea is 3 to 4 players in a pod. Like okay, they will play each other, and the winner moves on to the next pod or whatever. It depends on how you want to do the tournament, but it is doable. But tournaments again, it's kind of along the line of, are you playing? You can play casual Twin Suns, or you can start leaning towards the competitiveness of Twin Suns. I don't think
We
we're
don't
at that.
need
We're
that.
not at the competitiveness, but we are at the part that we do like achievements. We do like if you're on Steam and you have these games and you play, oh, I just unlocked this achievement. Hey, I flipped the table 10 times in Tabletop Simulator. Great, I got an achievement. But those are fun to get, right? So that is a way to possibly, think of different, you know, thinking outside the box when it comes to Twin Suns itself. But I agree. I think tournaments could be a little bit more lean towards more on the competitive side. And I don't think that is the vision that I personally would want in Twin Suns. I mean, is it doable? Yeah, but at the end of the day, I think just having a casual game, hanging out and playing the games is a little bit more important than how do I beat Jonathan? How do I beat Steve? Because Steve keeps winning because Cole loves him because of how he doesn't ever attack him.
I've
So
learned from
it's
my
kind of like,
ways.
Man,
but
it's so
Yeah.
personal.
that's the way I look at it.
I think Ruben's a little bit salty still.
That
Just,
lurking tie phantom. I'm just saying, okay.
you know,
I know it's been like months, but I'm still holding on to that just a little.
that's fair. I get it.
I do want to echo though what Ruben was saying because with Premiere, it's you playing against someone else, and I feel like any errors in your gameplay, you can self-reflect and be like, okay, how could I have played better? But in a format like Twin Suns, you're like, oh, well, I could have played better because I just had 3 people target me immediately. So there's a bit of that as
Mm-hmm.
well, where
Yeah.
balancing that, and it is definitely more of a political game where it's okay. How do I manipulate the table to get a desirable outcome, rather than just how can I play smarter?
Be
I've,
nice.
Yeah, I'll literally be nice. And I think one of the tactics we need to go back to in our pod, and I'm not saying that this is the way everyone has to play. We got so many more resources when it was like we looked around the table, saw, and tried to keep each other's health almost to a 1-to-1 ratio.
Mm-hmm.
Like I know that that's a very specific like almost like a house rule we did, but that was one way we got games to go longer. Because if you just have one person playing an aggro deck, or even 2 people, like uh, the Sabine Leia deck's a perfect example. If you run a red Sabine and a green Leia with a bunch of rebel synergies, you can just hit on hit on hit on hit. It's crazy.
Right.
So if you want to be done by round 4, it's possible if you knock one person out. Um, but yeah, no, I just want to get back to longer games. I'm intrigued by just how we could get bigger games going. Because I know Ruben and I have played a couple, maybe one or two games of like 5 or 6 people, and I think
Mhm.
Johnathan was there for it too. And they're chaotic and fun. I just
Yeah, they're a
love
lot
a
of fun.
big game.
I mean, yeah, there's so many things you could do with it too. You can do, I think, man, this is talk about magic, but do you guys remember, maybe Steve will remember that, what is it called? Planescape or something that,
Oh
um,
yeah, plane
where it's
shift.
at, yeah, it's plain, yeah, where, yeah, I think that's what it is, where you randomly do a die and this impacts the whole board.
Oh
Like that'd be
wow.
I
something
love that.
fun. Like you roll a six-sided die, you roll it, like boom, this impacts the board state by just rolling a die. Like that's chaos. Like we could do that. But it's kind of like those kind of ideas. Like you can, the more people you have, you can make it chaotic. The less people you have, you can make it even more chaotic. Or, it's yeah. I just think that Twin Suns, we there's so much we can do with this game casually, make it more fun to make it people like, hey, we were gonna play a chaos Twin Suns game. They're like, what's that? Let me show you this die. This is what's gonna happen. Okay. So
Wow.
I
Called
think I think that'd be something that we could work with, but I just think it's just another entry for people to be like, hey, we're just here to have a good time. You want to try one of these decks out? Check out one of these cool decks that Cole made. Here, check this out. Look at all this stuff. Like every time I play one of your decks, Cole, I'm like, ooh, I like this is happening here. Okay, cool. So it's one of those things where I think it's easy for people to get into because again, I don't think Twin Suns is a costs a lot to build a good deck.
Mhm.
Even a fun deck, even if it's the jankiest deck you ever thought about, but it's fun to try something different. So that's kind of like when I play Padme, when I play Sabine, I don't play. I'm not a Sabine player, but I do know what Sabine does, and I do know what Padme does. So it's kind of that. So that's just the way I look at it. There's so much you can do with this game, especially with what 4 sets. We're gonna have what 70 liters, 72, or how much? I don't know the math. 18 times 4 is, yeah, 72 liters. So anyway, that's just me.
It might get to the point where I know Commander. I know we keep talking about it, but we would there's power levels to it where you sit down at the
Mhm.
Hmm.
table and you have kind of like a turn zero where you're like, I've got these that are all tier one. This is my Han and
Hmm.
Sabine deck or whatever, and then I've got my just for fun deck here. It's Finn and you know Moff Gideon or I don't know whatever,
Right.
and it may get to that point eventually, and then I think it'll be a little bit more fun. But I, I've played in Commander tournaments before, and basically it was like they give you points, and you basically give those points to your opponents. Like who made the coolest play, you give them a point, and then at the end of
Hmm.
the game, you total your points and you win based on how many points you got.
Yeah, I don't
So if
know.
they did something like that in Twin Sons, it might be interesting. Like who had the droidica, like the meme play of the game. They get a point or whatever.
Yeah, I would agree on that. The the thing that's always interested me is how do you guys actually decide on the decks you want to play? Personally, for me, it's one of two things. It's either thematic. I like making a lot of like decks that would make me happy to see like on a movie screen. I know that sounds so weird. Um, I don't just plug my best cards. It's pretty often I don't have like super crazy legendaries for the most part in my decks. I just want to do something funny. Or I make the most absolutely terrible, absolute bottom of the barrel. Why are you playing this? Cuz it makes me laugh. You guys have no idea the crap I am cooking up for next week. You're going to laugh. It's hysterical.
Um, Most of the time for me, it's a game mechanic that I enjoy. Whether it's a smuggle or I really like grit. Um, if it's a keyword that I like, and then from there, I try and see like how many cards, if there's enough cards that support that mechanic that I think I can make a deck out of, and then I go into like what leaders and aspects that best reflect that. And most of the time, the leaders are almost like one of the afterthought, like last choices I make.
Yeah, almost like you have your tags you want to do or like your specific combos, and then you're like, well, what leaders would work well with that? I get that. I absolutely get that.
Like I've recently been trying to brew up an experience matters deck, and was looking at like doing like Hondo and Grand Moff Tarkin. So like trying
Could
to
be
figure
interesting.
out like like okay, I need to have smuggle cards. Like okay, I need to have Imperial Matters cards. Like trying to work that out and then working my way up from there. So usually it starts with a game mechanic.
He's one of my favorite Star Wars characters. I wish he was not the bottom of the barrel that he is. Talking about Hondo, obviously, not Tarkin. But he's such a cool character, but it's just such a hard mechanic to play. Well, not even hard mechanic to play, but just so limited.
There's just not enough support for him
Yeah.
yet.
How about you, Ruben and Jonathan? How do you guys decide on building your decks?
I'll go next. Well, as you'll soon see, I wanted to try something different. I wanted to randomly decide what I'm going to build. So I created a little generator. I threw in all the hero names together. Boom, popped out a couple leaders, and went from there. So for me, I've always liked randomness. So whenever I play a board game or anything like that, I'm like, I'll just randomly choose a character. I randomly do this. I randomly pick this. Randomly pick that, because I like not knowing what I'm working with initially, and then start building from there. So that's kind of how I enjoy doing it. And for me personally, I just think that it helps me figure out different cards from that way. Like, okay, I would never expect, okay, this is a different leader that I would play. Okay, so this leader is specific on Republic cards. Okay, well, let me look at all the Republic cards. How many do I have? Okay, so if I'm playing Padme and serving the Republic, so I'm thinking, okay, well, let me start building around the theme of that. So what do? I throw in all the senators because that just sounds funny to me. Kind of like Steve's like, oh, I pick grit and I work with that and I see how that works, and I do that kind of the same way. Just I am unlike I know Cole, you have extensive knowledge of the lore and stuff. For me, I will remember some things about it, and yes, I've still not finished Clone Wars, the TV show, the animated show. My bad. But
Oh
It
at
my
is
the
your
end of the
bad.
goodness!
I know, I'm a bad person. I
I
get it.
didn't
I
say
get it.
that.
I know Steve was messaging me. He said you're a bad person.
That sounds about
No,
right.
but at the but at the end of the day, for me, I just enjoy randomness and I like to try different things out. And I've learned that when I started making my Twin Sun decks initially, let me put all my good cards in there. No, because you won't get to your 6, 7, 8, 9 drops.
Yup.
And it has nothing to do with playing with Cole. It has the fact that when you play this game, you may not get to 7, 8 resources. It just depends on how the game goes. So I've built my decks around the fact that maybe 7 is my highest card that I would run in here. Maybe sixes, a lot of sixes, some fives, and stuff like that. But when I build those decks, that's how I think about it. So that's just my mindset when I build them.
I think I'm a little bit more specific than even Steve. I'll see a card and be like, "Ooh, how do I build around this?" So sometimes it'll just feel like, how many cards can I draw in a turn for like pre-Vizsla and being like, how do I make him work? And so then
Yeah,
it's like,
that's
okay,
good. It's like trying to break the card. Like, how do I make this even better than, why isn't no
yeah,
one playing this card? This is the best card ever.
right. And it's so like Steve, he'll start looking at keywords. I'll do something similar, be like, okay, what draws cards, and put all those in. Or with the game you'll see on Friday, it's playing Republics. I'm like, okay, does it have a Republic tag? Throw it in the deck. Let's go. See how this works.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, that was the main topics. So, as always, we have a deck tech spotlight for you guys, created this week by
What?
Ruben.
Spoiler alert, I was talking a little bit about it earlier, so so yeah, the way I built this deck was just a random generator. I threw in all these heroism aspect leaders, and it popped out Padme, Amidala, and Sabine Wren. So I'm like, okay, great. Now I need to pick a base. All right, so how did I pick this base? I was just like, I'm running green, I'm running red. Let me try something else. Oh, their power isn't that strong at the beginning, so let me just throw Petronaki Arena in there. It's a 26 HP base that each leader gets +1/+0. So okay, cool. That was my first initial go at it. Then I was like, okay, Republic cards. Okay, great. How do I do that? So I added as many Republic cards I could. This deck is, FYI, is 60 cards. I just couldn't take anything out. I wanted all of it in here. So I threw in a lot of 1 drops, a ton of 2 drops, because one thing is you need coordinate, right? So you want to keep putting as many units on the board as you can, even if there are little guys here, little, that they may just die off. But the more you put on there, the more you can activate and use Padme's ability. So that was really important to me. So that's kind of why I did that. And throwing in the senators is a lot of fun. And when you play the senators incorrectly, it's even more fun.
Oh yeah.
Especially when no one catches it, even me, who I do my best to do the rulings correctly. But I've learned, again, I said this earlier, when I'm playing casual Twin Suns, everything goes, guys. Everything you can do happens. So, but overall, my main focus on this was to build it a little bit thematic around Republic. I got senators in here. I've got the favorable delegate. It does, would I play this card ever? No, but it's fun. And then I started running. Of course, I got to run my Padmes in there because it's Padme. And then running some more leadership units in here. Then I started running. Oh man, I want to start running some smuggle guys in here. I wanted to run tech and I was running all kinds of things. But then I was like, wow, I've got a total of 47 units. Where do I put the rest of the stuff at, right? So so when I put this in here, I was like, okay, I want my events to be impactful. So there's so many different cards you could put in here, but I don't want to. My main focus is getting my units out there. I feel like my units will be able to eventually have a lot of units where you can't deal with all of them. But I did run Caught in the Crossfire, and which is I think one of the best red aggression cards that you could use for something along this line. So I wanted to pick a really good card in aggression, a really good card in cunning, and a really good card in um command. So I did that. I did Caught in the Crossfire. I call it the 3 C's: Caught in the Crossfire, Change of Heart, and Choose Sides. So I did that. Like, great, now I got something I can work with. Only got 7 events. Clearly let you know that
Oh.
my focus isn't on events. It's about my dudes, right? I want my guys to hit harder. And of course, got to run my 1 copy of Confiscate, because you just never know. But the upgrades itself, yes, I threw in I threw in 3 of them that were smuggleable. I guess you could say smuggleable. I'm gonna use that word. So jetpack, arm to the teeth, and the hotshot blaster. Just in case I want to throw in a little bit of extra fun stuff, and you'll see in one of the gameplays that I was able to put arm to the teeth, hotshot blaster, and jetpack on my leaders, which I think ended the game pretty quickly after that, meaning everyone went after me. But I also threw in the General's Blade, the Dark Saber, and Traitorous for a little bit extra fun, because putting the Dark Saber on Sabine is always a good time, especially for those who play Sabine in Premiere. So overall, I have 13. I have 7 events and 6 upgrades, and the rest are units. So if that tells you anything about where my focus is at, was just creating all kinds of units out there to keep putting the pressure on the board, but also keeping me protected with my Sentinel units and so forth. But I had so much fun building this because it was random that it was just a lot more fun for me to try it. I was like, oh, I'm gonna try a different deck out. So when we played it, I played it a couple times, and I really enjoyed doing it.
Yeah, I like
I
this
love
list a lot.
the I do too. I like the senators being able to like do some political shenanigans, like, "Hey man, if you don't attack me, this compassionate senator might be able to give you 2 health on your base." Like being able to like you
Yep.
know play that level. And I think uh, Caught in the Crossfire is so cool. The way you can target 2 different opponents. You know what I mean? Like it's so. I love how free it is to be able to pick like all these different scenarios. Same with Change of Heart and Choose Sides. Like there's
Yeah.
so many different ways you can really screw somebody over with that.
Right, and just when I built it, I was like, okay, the three C's, that was just wow, just the way it got luck with the names. But I wanted to pick a strong card in each of the colors,
Hmm.
just so I can I think for my deck to be like, okay, it's being represented. Like whenever I play this card, it represents the aggression side of my deck, or the cunning side, or the command side of the deck. So I think for me, I just enjoyed that part of it the most. But when I was creating all my units, I was like, okay, all of these units they're a lot of fun to play, and some of these I wouldn't even play, but they meet the criteria of either being Mandalorian or some Sentinels. And I also put Grogu in here because he's just irresistible.
Oh
He
yeah.
is pretty fun. Just exhausting people constantly.
Yeah.
All right, well
It's a
that
nice
was.
political tool you can do, like, hey, don't attack me. You need me. I'm the one holding that guy down.
Yep. Exactly.
And I often forget that Grogu's actually a problem until someone exhausts me. And then I go, oh yeah, that's what he does.
It's usually your problem.
Yeah,
So you
literally.
usually got like a really big unit we need to get tapped down.
Listen. These allegations are unfounded. There's totally not tapes of it. All right, so that was our deck tech spotlight. As always, it will be linked below, and I'll have pictures of the cards come up as we talked about them. So our final segment, as always, we're going to play our favorite game, Name That Card.
What's
Since
that
I
card?
won last time, I get to go ahead and pick the card. And as always, for the people at home, we're going to go around, ask one question, such as the rarity, aspect, type, tags, whatever you want to know about the card. And when it gets to your turn, if you think you know what it is, go for it. If you're wrong, that's it. Thanks for playing. But if you're right, game over, you win. If no one guesses your card, then the person who chose the card wins, and the winner receives validation from the group, which is great. So
All
let's
that you
go ahead
need.
and get started. All that I need personally. So who wants to start with the first question?
I'll go first.
All right.
Do it.
Here we go. Is it the card from last week?
No.
Ah, yeah.
Oh, that's a good one.
That's
Okay,
funny.
one
That would
down.
be funny, but no.
Is this a unit?
It is a unit.
Okay. Is it heroism?
No.
Is this unit vigilance?
No.
Is this unit neutral?
Yes.
Does it have two legs? Like, does it walk on two legs?
No.
Hmm. Does this unit have a brain
No.
in the card?
No.
Is this unit a ship? I
Yes.
think I know what it is.
Neutral ship?
I'm gonna do the Cole thing where I ask two questions and immediately
Uh,
know what it is.
Put the pressure on us. I'm not going to take the bait this time. Is it? Oh, now I got to be a bit more vague though. Can't help Steve out again.
I'm next, so help me out.
I know. Yeah.
Have the cost. We don't have any of the tags or keywords.
Yeah,
Oh.
I asked for the cost, Jonathan.
Well, not ask for. I don't think that's how. I think it's
Is
like usually
it?
blank cost. Yeah.
Is it between
Okay.
Oh,
4 and 7?
You know what? I'll allow it. Yes. I will allow that question. Yes, it is between 4 and 7.
ooh, okay.
Sounds like you just helped Steve.
4 and 7. Oh, man. Steve, don't you be looking up Star Wars Unlimited. I'm watching you. I'm seeing. No, I was kidding. Man, 4. I don't. I don't know how to say it without looking it up, but I'm gonna just say it. It's the gunship.
No.
Damn it! All right, that's my guess.
Ruben's out.
Yeah, see now, and the one I had in mind doesn't.
The
fit.
card Ruben was thinking of was Mercenary Gunship, and no, it is not the Mercenary Gunship.
No, not that one. That's a 2-cost one. I wasn't thinking that one. There was another one. I thought it was like
Describe
Kaskai.
it.
I don't know. It's
I don't know the cost
There's-
or what the.
Devastating
it's
Gunship
between
is
4. It's between 4 and 7. No,
I'm gonna make a guess because I feel like Jonathan's probably gonna guess it. Is it not the Millennium Falcon, but the YT Corellian freighter? Is it the
Aha! Steve is our winner this week.
that was the one I was thinking. I just didn't know that was
I thought it was for sure that Restore 2
the
3-cost
twin pod
ship.
cloud
Twin
car.
pod, yeah.
That's what
twin
I
pod
thought at
plasma.
first. Yeah.
No, it is the Corellian Freighter.
Good
That was the
job.
card.
That was a card I saw in my head, but I
Oh,
didn't
I'm
know the
sorry.
name of it.
When you said Mercenary, I was like, ah, Mercenary Gunship. I'm sorry, Rube. You know what?
No, you're 100% fine. I'm the one who messed that up.
Yeah,
I don't
could
know
have
all the
described
names
it
of these
better.
cards. Yeah, right. It's a ship. You didn't get it? It's a ship, guys.
I don't sound like that. Let me know
No,
below if
no.
I sound like that. All right. Well, that was our game. Steve, I'm giving you an Air 5 through the computer.
Yes. Shower me with
Yes.
with awesome praise.
Well,
Yeah.
as always, thank you all for joining us for this week under the Twin Suns from the Scruffy Womp Rat Cantina. From each of us to each of you, thank you for joining us and listening. And we'll talk soon. Bye-bye now.
Love you guys. Me